the panel, which is kind of a little scary. But we are excited to demonstrate with you guys the Protanum Synergizer product, the Tri-Synergizer. I have three awesome individuals here with me. We got Dr. Sean McKee, Dr. Nancy Bryant, and Dr. Neil Goodman. Now let's kind of want to start with some of the background of who they are and where they're from and why they're here. So, Sean, why don't you start?
This is the non-story version of why I'm here. Okay, this is the facts, and maybe if we have time, we'll get to the real meat and potatoes. First of all, I'm a board-certified neuroradiologist and recently founder of the Vitality MD. Previously, I was president and medical director of Coastal Imaging Associates, and I was a former chief of neuroradiology at the United States Air Force Keesler Medical Center, former senior fellow at Tufts New England Medical Center, so I've traveled around, and former chief resident at University of Florida, Shands Jacksonville Diagnostic Radiology.
All right.
I'm also a two-time X, I guess I can say X, but you know, once an Ironman, always an Ironman. I've done 240.6 mile Ironman triathlon, and my family just kind of filled all that, time training. And I'm a former ultra marathoner, multiple marathoner, married to an amazing man, gastroenterologist, another former president of the Mississippi Gastroenterology Society. We're a bunch of has-beens. I don't know. For 30 years, and I'm so proud of that. I'm an oldie wet, and I'm a mom of two amazing college-age sons.
Neil.
Thank you. I'm foremost a practicing pediatrician for 34 years who takes care of children age 0 to 21. I was a 14-year U.S. Army veteran in the medical corps. I was chief of adolescent medicine at Fort Benning and Fort Gordon, and I've been a biohacker since becoming aware of how nutrigenomics can have a positive impact on my clients and my family. And I'm married to my wife of 34 years, my obstetrician and gynecologist wife, Margaret Goodman. She's also a biohacker and a distributor, and we have one adult child. As a professor of medicine, I love to spread the message of good health through nutritional activation by teaching, and my mission is to simplify the science.
And now we have 06, Dr. Nancy Bryant.
Hi, I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona. And I'm a doctor of pharmacy, a certified diabetes educator, a certified geriatric and veterinary pharmacist. But I also am a veterinary and medicinal and nutritional formulator. Most importantly, I love nutrigenomics and educating people about it. And of course, I'm a biohacker. I'm also a two-time breast and melanoma cancer survivor and warrior. I have 3 grown children. One of which is Zach out in the audience. Hey, Zach! 2 granddaughters and a grandson that's coming in just a couple of weeks, so we're super excited about that. My favorite things to do besides being a mom and a grandma, of course, are hiking, golfing. I love water sports, but what I really love this time of year is watching my favorite football team, Michigan State University Spartans. As a clinical pharmacist and formulator, I've always had a passion for improving health outcomes in humans and animals. We love those furry guys. And the best part of being on the LifeVantage Science Advisory Board for me is that it's allowed me to have a vision to be so much greater. We're able to educate and to motivate and to empower people to be able to live their potential and wellness. And it's such an honor for me to be surrounded by incredibly talented health professionals like these guys. So thrilled to be sharing the same vision and purpose.
And I'm a practicing chiropractor. I've been married to Holly for 23 years. We have 4 children, aged from 20 to 12. I've been in clinical practice for 19 years. I've actually been training healthcare providers for the last 25, all over the United States, Canada, Europe. My father and I helped pioneer what's called the 6 Steps to Wellness. I've been part of teaching and creating nutritional supplements and creating chiropractic tools and techniques. My passion for helping people achieve their full potential in health is now actually extended to helping people with their wealth. Back in 2014, I had a paradigm shift. I saw changes in a young man I had been working with for over a year with this breakthrough technology which we get to share. Now I'm an Elite Post 7 with the company, excited to share these life-changing science and opportunity with the world. So, without further ado, today's panel is literally about the Tri-Synergizer line and how each of the 3 Protanum Synergizer supplements address the 3 theories of aging. Now those theories include the NRF2 theory, the NRF1 mitochondrial theory, and finally the Suturan or NAD theory of aging. So let's first set the background, discuss the current state of our bodies and how it works. So the body is a complex organism made up of systems. There are physical systems, consist of organs and also have barriers for our bodies in the world beyond. There are chemical systems that use to make heat energy and remove and release toxins and waste. We also have barriers in the body to the world as an interface with our environment. Some examples of these are our skin, our hair, our respiratory tract, and our GI system. The microbiome is literally present in all of these. Of all these systems are controlled by complex cell signaling pathways, which we learned a ton about the other day with Dr. Brian, Brian Dixon, right? He told us not to call him Dr. Dixon, so. Even the microbiome also releases a number of healthy compounds that can travel the body and activate cell signaling pathways. We are here to discuss how the Proton synergize the product line and life and product interface with these complex systems and how we utilize this nutrigenomics to unlock the health potential found right in our own DNA. Now, Dr. Goodman, what in the world do we have over here?
Dr. Brimhall, let me turn this model of the body on.
He's so awesome.
You're lucky you made it out here to do the
Explains
airport.
everything.
I love a good science fair project. This attempt of making a model of all of our functions of the body as it pertains to nutrigenomics has never been attempted before a LifeVantage audience. I hope it goes well, and I hope it doesn't blow up. Dr. Brimhall, just as you explained, what I'm showing here is a plastic orb or a ball that represents our body. And the physical barriers on the outside, such as the gut and the skin and the hair, these are what interface us with our environment. And we also have a microbiome that lives within us and on us. And it's exposed to not only our internal chemistry, but all of the environmental factors that you spoke about. This plant, can you guys see this sunflower that's inside here?
Yes.
This plant represents our microbiome, or the garden in our gut. And this twisted pool noodle on top represents our DNA helix, our instruction code for our body that exists in almost all of our 37 trillion cells. And finally, this factory at the bottom, this is our energy source. This is the powerhouse of the cell, and it represents our cell's many mitochondria and their ability to produce energy and waste. Dr. Brimhall, back to you.
Okay, so Dr. McKee, you're our NRF2 expert. So what exactly is NRF2 and what does it do for us?
So glad you asked. Well, we all know, I'm speaking to a bunch of NRF2 experts in the audience, but of course NRF2 is a protein. It's in all of our cells, and it just sits in them monitoring the environment, and when it detects a stress, it rings the alarm bell, goes into our DNA, and turns on over 200 survival genes and housekeeping genes that then are responsible for activating several normal cellular processes, including repair, detoxification, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and all the other things you want and need. And the issue is that as we get older, its response dampens such that it's not enough to fully sound that alarm bell and fully activate and produce these good guys. But let's be clear, when I say we're getting older and aging, I don't mean someone in their 70s or 80s or 90s. I'm talking about over 20. We can actually measure the biochemical and physiological effects of aging beginning as early as our 20s.
So Dr. McKee, what are some of these threats that NRF2 responds to, and really what are some of those exposures to our bodies that might be helped because we can activate this system?
Have you been in the store this morning? Ouch! My eyes, I was choking. Okay, we're walking from the hotel to the store and we're assaulted by some kind of something going on. It's from the tanks and it's leaking all kinds of who knows what into the air and into the store. Hopefully they cleared that out. But even if you don't have to go past an environmental hazard, today there's so many. UV radiation from the sun, pollution, pesticides, herbicides, household and industrial cleaners, off-gassing from carpets, your building materials in your home, electromagnetic electromagnetic radiation from your cell phone, which is always near you, Wi-Fi from your router and microwaves, etc. So yes, we're going to mitigate, we're going to prevent exposure to all those things in our own home as much as possible. We're going to choose organic foods, we're going to distance ourselves from our cell phones and our microwaves. But when we go out into the world, when we come to a convention and walk past these tanks that are doing things, when we go to an airport, when we go to the gas station, stores, Walmart, we're constantly exposed to an overwhelming amount of damaging toxins. And they in turn overwhelm our body's innate abilities to respond, especially as we get older.
So what do people normally do now to combat these threats?
Well, we've always heard, Brett, that we should eat our fruits and veggies, right? And that's true, we should. Vegetables along with fruits, nuts, etc. have important building blocks that they're nutrients that serve as building blocks for our cells to make our collagen in our tissues, etc. They also have these amazing compounds called flavonoids and polyphenols and much more that act as direct antioxidants. And these help combat that oxidative stress we all hear about as a result of these exposures. But these good guys, these direct antioxidants, like from food, and also vitamins that we take, like vitamin C, go to the health food store and get vitamin E, they fight free radicals, which is the cause of oxidative stress, in a 1-to-1 ratio. You knock out one bad guy with one antioxidant molecule, and then you eliminate it and have expensive urine, as they say.
Okay, so Dr. McKee, so what about protanum NRF2 citrate? What makes it different?
Oh, it's so different because it's not actively combating the antioxidants directly. It's activating and triggering the release of this wonderful NRF2 protein that goes into the nucleus and then codes for or signals the coding of hundreds of these enzymes that are antioxidant. Now the difference and the beautiful thing about enzymes is they're not used up in the reaction. They're simply cofactors. They're catalysts that facilitate these complex biochemical reactions that eliminate the free radicals. And they continue to do so minute after minute, hour after hour, for days and weeks at a time. And thus, they eliminate these free radicals, these bad guys, at a rate of 1,000,000 to 1 instead of 1 to 1.
Right? So why can't we just take these enzymes like the glutathione or the SOD?
Many people thought they could, and that's a great question. If you take oral glutathione or oral superoxide dismutase, SOD, your body, what's it going to do? It's going to digest it, your gastric acids, the whole, pancreas, all of this is going to happen. It's going to digest those larger molecules down into the constituent amino acids. They're broken down. You'll get those same amino acids when you drink your physique protein shake or when you eat a steak. That's more fun. The key is not adding more building blocks, but rather it's increasing the rate at which your body constructs those amino acids into glutathione and SOD. In other words, the key is ramping up their production, and that's what protanum NRF2 synergizer does. It tells our body to make more of it.
Okay. All right. Dr. Neal.
Dr. Brimhall, I would just like to simplify what Dr. McKee just talked about. I like to simplify the science. And we're going to use this model to demonstrate what we're talking about. First of all, let's generate some free radicals, you guys. We're going to generate the bad guys and hijack this orb just as our bodies are hijacked every day. This red smoke is filling our body with free radicals. This is not only cellular waste that the body generates, but it's also coming from outside influences like Dr. McKee mentioned. These free radicals cause oxidative stress while we don't have enough of those internal bad guys present to get rid of the bad guys, to neutralize them. They're bombarding not only all of the material in our cells, but they're damaging our genetic code and our factories and our microbiome, our gut and our skin. They're all affected. As you can see, this body is totally filled up with toxic waste. The bad guys, you can't even see through it. It has obscured everything, and it has taken over this body. It's in really bad shape. So, let's add a little protanum NRF2. And let's start to clear this waste. Who wants to clear the waste out of this body? Let's begin to reduce the oxidative stress and remove those free radicals. And we're also turning on this body's survival genes and making millions of good guys.
There we go. So Dr. Goodman, you're a NRF1 expert. So let's talk about that and how this relates. What really does NRF1 activation do for our mitochondria?
Well, Dr. Brimhall, it helps our mitochondria increase in number and helps to keep those that we have healthy and functioning at their best.
Is there really a benefit to having more mitochondria?
Absolutely. Having more mitochondria is a good thing. It lets us metabolize better. We can generate more ATP, which is our body's energy or fuel. This improves our physical endurance, our stamina. It also increases our ability to be mentally alert.
So what you're saying is our bodies become more efficient at burning fuel?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We become better at using food and oxygen as our fuel. We can make more energy, and we can do more physical and mental work. And this helps us to reduce tiredness and fatigue.
Is there any downside to having this metabolic increase from our mitochondria?
Well, sort of. It's sort of the same as if we were exercising. You know, when we exercise, we generate more waste, and we also make more free radicals. So therefore, we also need to have protanum NRF2 synergizer present in order to help us get rid of it. And now that we have more factories, we can make more energy for us to get rid of that waste and support our body's natural detoxification response. All things that require energy are improved with healthy mitochondria. That's how protanum NRF1 synergizer and protanum NRF2 synergizer work together, and we're healthier for it. Dr. Brimhall, using this model, I would like to show you what happens when we have more efficient mitochondria. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's why he's the moderator. I hope you can breathe okay.
That secondhand smoke does kill you.
This is a lot of free radicals we're putting on stage here. So as you can see, and maybe not, because we still have an awful lot of waste to get rid of here. But as you can see, the lights or the mitochondria are getting a little bit better, and they're making it a little more clearer, and they're making more energy, and more toxic waste is being removed from the body. Now let's let some more out of this vent. I hope you guys can tolerate it. There we go. All right, we're gonna let that keep going there.
So we better pull out some NAD. That's all I gotta say.
I told you this has never been done before on the stage.
So Dr. Brian, we are glad we have NAD, and we're glad to have you up here. So let's talk about NAD, since you are NAD and since you're an expert. Help us. What is this whole NAD thing?
Well, first of all, NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Try saying that with crackers in your mouth, right? Yeah, we don't want to have to repeat that. So it's a complicated word. Just know that it's NAD, not NAD. It's not gonad, Marcel. Okay? It's a molecule, and it's essential for biological reactions that happen. And most notably in the mitochondria, it's going to help aid the breakdown of food that we eat for energy.
So what makes this so special?
Well, NAD is important in so many chemical and biological processes in the body. And that means that with protanum NRF1 and NRF2 synergizers, they're already activating, but we're going to accelerate it. We're going to help it work even better with the presence of NAD. And who doesn't want even more improved NRF1 and NRF2? I.e. that ball needs it for sure.
So, Dr. Brian, why is our protanum NAD synergizer different from other similar named NAD products in the marketplace?
Brett, that's such a good question. And I know it's a question that a lot of you are going to hear because NAD is out there. It's something that people are discussing. What makes this different is that other NAD products on the market attempt to increase NAD by providing precursors. Or in other words, what they do is the materials that go into making NAD are provided. We're not doing that. What are we? We're activators,
natural.
right?
Yeah.
We are producing our own NAD by activation of a protein messenger pathways. And the same as what we did with Protandem NRF2 Synergizer, we're going to be activating in our own body. As it activates the body's normal systems, it's going to process to make things.
So, why do we need to activate this NAD?
Well, NAD is 100% necessary to support normal cellular process of DNA repair. And that's for the manufacturing of energy and for the function of something called the sirtuin enzymes, which are a theory of aging that we haven't talked much about. In this theory of aging, it comes from research on caloric restrictions. And we have shown that we increase sirtuin by 100% in 24 hours, which is very close to the 94% that you get from caloric restriction. And this is a lot easier, that's for sure.
Right?
It helps important proteins to do their work. In essence, you need NAD to be functioning in all of your cells to be your absolute very best.
So, Dr. Goodman, I have a feeling that you have something you're going to show us.
You're absolutely right, Brett. Isn't this exciting? Just as Dr. Bryan said, when Protandem NAD Synergizer is added to the other two Protandem Synergizers, the body has even more ability to generate energy and increase waste removal. Essentially, we are turbocharging the system to do an even better job.
Yes. Oh, he has the light.
You turn the lights down a little bit on that, and the ball, you can see it.
So the body is able to sustain good health because all of the important metabolic the cycles in the body are functioning at their maximum capacity. NRF2 is for reducing that oxidative stress, reducing cellular stress. NRF1 is for increasing the efficiency and energy of the cells by improving mitochondrial repair and increasing biogenesis. So NRF1 provides the cellular energy for NRF2 to perform its detoxification role.
And remember, we need NAD to help all of these pathways. That's how we're going to be our absolute very best.
That's right, Dr. Bryan. Just look at the model again. We now see the body is getting energized by NAD. The factories are working at peak efficiency with maximal energy generation, as illustrated by the lights again becoming brighter and flashing. And you see the toxic debris in the body is exiting as we're expelling it, and our body does a better job of getting rid of waste. Look, we can see inside the sphere, our body again. The plant and the DNA are visible again.
Everybody, if you follow this, you'll realize we need to combine the Protandem Synergizer and this tri-synergizer concept, along with the great benefits of being on our other LifeVantage nutrigenomic products. We really have the potential to change the human condition, really like no other company has ever been able to do.
Dr. Grimhall, this Biohackers Toolkit is also known as the Ultimate Stack. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy brilliant science. It's unique amongst our competitors because at every level, we're utilizing the key concepts of synergy of ingredients. And we're using the synergy of science to unlock our nutrigenomic potential. Look at who we have involved in this LifeVantage family. We've assembled PhDs, MDs, DOs, naturopaths, chiropractors, nurses, and professionals at every level of experience and in every discipline. This synergy of knowledge and the synergy of having a complete systems approach is what's going to take LifeVantage into the stratosphere as the only biohacking and wellness company that people will be taking notice of. Sled, you guys. LifeVantage family, listen up. You are part of this movement. You are the ambassadors that can share this knowledge with your friends and family so that you and they can once again be the very best version of yourselves.
So there you have it, you guys. You see what the Tri-Synergizer and other nutrigenomic-based products we have. We literally have the Ultimate Biohackers Toolkit, the Pro-Ten Tri-Synergizer, and the Ultimate Stat. None of this would have been possible, really, if it weren't for all the effort of these individuals, and really from all of you guys' efforts. With what we just heard about our stories, we're going to kind of go off script just a little bit here today, right now. And it's been really hard for me to follow the script to those of you guys that know me, so. But in listening to what we heard earlier about telling our story, yesterday morning we were sitting in the LV Docs meeting. There's literally several hundred different healthcare providers in the same room, kind of getting along, right? And I'm always in awe at how we're all together in the same room and we all fill with these stories and different backgrounds. So guys, I'm truly here because of the story that hurts, right? I learned to speak on stage when I was small. My dad would make us go on stage in front of our family to learn how to be comfortable with public speaking. That part's the easy part. The hard part is why. I think all of us know that you know a bunch of people that are struggling right now with healthcare, with family stuff, and they're looking for a solution. So when my mom passed away, I remember sitting on her bed and not wanting to leave. This is what we did is laugh. And I tried to tell her I love her, and she couldn't talk back because she couldn't breathe. Guys, I didn't know about nutrigenomics at the time. And what we have, and the stories we can share. I know my mom loves me. And because of this, we can hopefully impact some lives in a totally different way, but I can be better at helping those that entrust me. And I know that each of you have your story. Just in the last little bit, guys, every single one of us in life will feel a loss at some point in time, and what that loss can do is move us to action. And I remember getting a call or a text after we get announced we're going to do this thing together. But I'm here, guys, because I want to help others, and I want to be a better dad. And when I'm not worried about finances, I'm a better dad, okay? And when I'm helping somebody else, and I can help touch you, and we can help somebody else, then that feels me, right? And I know, like, these individuals, they have taken a ton of time and energy. I don't know how you can go to jail, like, getting out of that pipe on. But behind each of these individuals, you think that we're all that tough, Iron Marathon, we all have pain, we all have hurt. And in realness, we have a little time, but I'd like to just, why are you guys here? Like, why are you really here?
Because I want more out of life. So 8 years ago, I was trying to wear, I think, 85 hats, I think, pretty much. Full-time mom, married to a full-time, full-time doctor, full-time radiologist. We had real estate businesses because we were trying to figure out how we were going to get off the hamster wheel. We figured, well, real estate. And then there was a wonderful mission in our town to start an incredible health and wellness facility where the doctors would work together with patients and prescribe health and wellness. And they would get memberships to our gym, and we would provide a free month for people, and we would encourage people through the prescription of health and wellness to get themselves healthy. But it's funny, when you write a prescription for exercise, many people don't fill it. And we were all in. We were all in. We didn't just buy one share of the gym, we bought 2 shares. And then the cash calls came because people weren't fulfilling their prescriptions. And we had 7 pools. We had indoor. It should have been here in LA or Long Beach, but it was in Biloxi. Mississippi. People don't exercise there. I mean, I don't know. I love you from Mississippi. I'm from there, so I can say it. But, so I was wearing all these hats. I was a managing partner because I was passionate about this message of health and wellness. And I wore myself to the ground. I was so tired. Many of you heard me tell my story. But my husband actually sent me to an age management doctor who he sends his dying cancer patients to figure out what the heck was going on. And most of all, I just wanted the peace to be with my family. My mom had cancer at the time. She went to MD Anderson for extensive surgery. I had to take 2 weeks to be with her. I'm an only child. My grandmother has Alzheimer's. It was such a stress on my life to leave everything and have all the bills of the practice in the athletic center and then come back after being with my mom when she needed me, and I was thankful that I could be, but I was just getting further and further under, and it was absolutely exhausting. And I was praying for something. How do people do this? How do people take time to be with the people that need them when they need them, to be fully present and not worry about money? And like you, I never want to have to think about money. I don't want money to be a factor in the equation of whether I can or cannot do something for someone. And I was praying for it, and that doctor that my sweet husband sent me to, after I told her that I didn't like, taking a bunch of supplements to feel better, and it didn't feel better, she told me about this, and that was a gift from God because she wasn't even a distributor. She told me about this, and I knew from that moment I was going to take it for the rest of my life. I was going to feed it to my family. I had no idea my life was going to be changed, and the answer to my prayer was that. But that's what I want. I want to be able to be present for those that need me. And apparently everyone is going to bring up their mom passing. And 3 weeks ago, my sweet mom passed. And she was doing everything. It was an accident. And so I just want to be the best I can for her.
We're definitely taking him out strip with Dr. Neal. I think he's getting more uncomfortable inside.
I don't know what's coming next. You know what? I just want to reiterate a lot of what both of them have said. This really is about having time and using it the way you want to use it, being present in it, and not having to worry about those other things. But more importantly, what we have here is such a community. And I know, and I don't want to cry either. I lost my husband this summer. And there was nothing that helped me more than when I was able to go to Kansas City and be loved by so many people and to have all of you as a community. That's the thing that's important here. And I have lots of reasons why I'm here. I was told by a surfer, for those of you that were, seriously. God bless him. We miss you, Wayne. But what I will say most importantly is that it's about this community, and I tell my group and anyone I can, if they had any idea what this was, our products are fantastic. I love them, and as a scientist, I love the evidence-based science behind them. I love that. But more importantly, what I love is this. If everyone knew what this was, we'd have people lining up everywhere to come and have this.
Yep.
And that's what I want to express to everybody. That's why I'm here, and that's why I want other people that I love to be here.
So Dr. Goodman, I know the other day we were setting this up, and like guys, the mastermind behind this and what you saw visual, he wants to help you see what we see, right? And what you're really doing. And this is his mastermind. I think he's all he's done for the last 2 weeks, right? Bless his wife's heart, right?
Well, there was a lot that went into this. I took over my living room for the last 2 weeks and had this. But see what Ben Jacobs saying without, if you don't have Protanum.
Yeah.
This is what happens, right?
But I've got a little piece of his life, just the last little bit. You guys hear him? He's been in practice 35 years. He's treated probably thousands of kids, infected thousands of lives, right? He's not building this in his office. He has to do the same as you outside of that. But I was watching Kerry Williams kind of give you the 1-2 punch the other day, right? And to really kind of get in your space, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little about that.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm crafting this story on the fly here for you, and I wasn't sure I was ready to put it out there, but I'm going to try for it. So, I was very fortunate to have both mom and dad who loved me very much. I was always a smart kid growing up. I was not understood by either of my parents because they didn't really know what to do with me. I had science experiments going on in the basement, and I had some dead animals in my freezer where our meat was kept in the house, and my mother would open it up and say, "What is that?" You know, I mean, it was a chamber of horrors. Anyways, long story short is my father was a very, very heavy smoker. He smoked 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day. He was a retail salesperson working a regular job in a store. He got home very late on a regular basis. We never saw him. When he was home, he had no time for us whatsoever. He would smoke in his chair, watch TV, and we were just there. And we were breathing the fumes the entire time. I hated cigarette smoke so much. The whole house was covered with it. You could literally shade the nicotine and tar off the windows. And we were all suffocating in that environment. And I hated it for it. And ultimately, it took his life. I was 16. We tried to tell him not to smoke. He wouldn't listen to us. My mother tried to tell him as well. My mother really carried the thrust of our family. She was an artist. There was that creative part of our family, and that's what she knew, and she was always very supportive. Anyways, I got to do a research project at Walter Reed Army Institute of Research when I was 16. I went away for about 3 months to work on a kidney research project as a 16-year-old out of high school. I got called back urgently because my father was in the hospital and he was dying of lung cancer. I came home to take care of him. My mother was trying to support the family. Ultimately, he died, and my mom was left alone. And the only choice that I had at that point was to try to find some way to sustain the family and do what I could, my fair share. Unfortunately, some 10 years after that, my mother died of breast cancer, probably as a consequence of her many years of exposure, and I certainly was exposed to 16 years of breathing tobacco fumes. And how I came out of it okay, I don't know, but I remember his doctors always treating our family with disdain. That's all I can say. I wanted to be a doctor because I wanted to improve the condition of other people, and I didn't want other people to have family members that suffered like I did as a kid while he was being treated with chemotherapy and we were being left to waste, essentially. And so I made the point that I was going to be the best doctor that I could, and I wanted to find an optimistic specialty, and I chose pediatrics because I felt like I could make a difference.
Yes.
And I could help children, and I could avoid this kind of stuff that we're all being exposed to on a daily basis for the next generation. And that was my mission, and that's what got me into medicine. But things change, and I've been practicing pediatrics for 35 years, and I didn't feel like I had the outreach that I should have. I had it on children, but I had these families that were in distress, families that weren't eating healthfully, that were toxic, like this. And, you know, they aren't hearing the message, and I wanted to find what else could fulfill me where I could have better outreach. And I found LifeVantage. And LifeVantage, through my own PA, Debbie Zito, who is my upline and has been with me by my side as I kid. She's my second wife. She's been with me 20 years, and she introduced me through Sean. Sean started first, introduced Debbie, Debbie introduced me. And I'm absolutely 100% on board. This is the best family that anybody could ever want or desire. I am so fulfilled when I come here, every Life Vantage Academy, I am filled up. It's what I'm missing in my own life, in my daily practice of medicine. I mean, I'm grateful that I can take care of thousands of kids and try to make a difference. But I can do so much more for the world by touching all of you guys. This is my heart. Where I can see all of you and interface with you and take a Photoshop with you and try to explain this very complicated subject matter and make it so something that you can turn around and re-express it to other people and not make it so damn hard.
What we're doing now is what I wish I would have known or could have done 20 years ago.
Yes.
You have everything you need. You are everything you need to have. Like, I love being part of this experience. And believe me, that wasn't scripted, the last part, by any means. But as I drove from Arizona this last weekend, it hit me again. Guys, we are in the right place at the right time before anybody knows it's here. It's our job to take the passion we feel. So thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for opening yourself up and letting us feel why you're really here. So guys, you have the ultimate biohacker stack. It just only works when it goes in you. That's it. Only works when it's in you. Okay? Ways to do this and exercise, but do both. Okay? But at the same time, the only way you're going to be part of this, and maybe bringing somebody like one of us to the party, we were introduced, guys, most of us through non-clinicians, right? So please, get out, reach out, step out, and let's go tell those stories. Let's get people on the product, and let's make this thing happen. Thank you, thank you.